Hello guys, so welcome back to TC2 Hotshots Noob does Summit. It is Wednesday again, and that means that there is a new summit available, and so we're gonna have a look at it. Meanwhile, number 16 I think in the summit series. In PvP there is a community list available on Wednesday and Saturday. Let's have a look which one it is. It seems to be one of the second batch, and that means that collisions are on in some of these events. Not in drift, also not in rally raid, but rally cross, and so the collisions are on. Some hovercraft, some aerobatics, a bit of all in this playlist by the looks of it. Not sure which one this is, either it's from the forums or from Reddit, Crew Social, Spanish community, or the PvP experts that have created this list. The first batch being my playlist, Black Lotus, Rikishi and Vertical have no collisions, but that's not for this week by the looks of it. There should be a bundle available as well. Let's have a look on that thing. There is one available for the player's choice. The player's choice, the name is already suggesting it, is a summit created by the players, more specifically by the players who are member of the pit crew. We had the choice of selecting some events, we had the choice of coming up with a reward for a yellow set, and we also had the choice of 3 cars that we could select, which are already in the game, but to sort of give for free. And we went for the Zonda, I believe. Other than that, we had a few combination events that we suggested. We had some spare events. One of the events, for instance, that I suggested was red flagged, because I wanted to have hovercraft on the jet sprint track Everglades, a combo event. But that was considered to be too difficult even for seasonal players. That's what they said, so they replaced it with one of the backup events. Not that the backup event is going to be any better though, or easier. Pretty easy is not in this player choice summit, as you will see. Especially the choice of vehicles is going to make it a little bit harder to drive, I'm assuming. Let's see what there is available. We need a touring car for the combo event. They're suggesting the Maserati MC12. I'm not gonna buy this bundle, by the way, because we're gonna use some other stuff. We need a classic muscle car. They have the Dodge Charger 1969 in the bundle. Also that, yeah, I'm not gonna go for that. I remember in the Crew 1 when there was something with classic muscle, we usually ended up with the Corvette C2. I don't know if it's gonna be the same in this game, but that is the car that I'm gonna use, thinking that it's the most fast classic muscle. Unless something like a Ferrari F40 is considered a classic. It is a classic, but that's not a muscle car, so we will see. The RAV 300K is a sports car for the drift. The drift is steel forged plant. We have to use a forged sports car, so you can use a 370, a 370Z Nismo, BMW Z4. In this bundle, they give us the RAV. That's another reason why I don't buy the bundle. I already have the Nismo 370, which is considered to be a sports car, I think, in the game, so I'm assuming we can use that. We need the hot rod though, so I bought that one separately, and we also need the Cadillac Eldorado Braham, which is one of the spare events that has been selected, and I believe it is at night in the snow, and this is not an easy car to drive, so yeah, gonna have a few surprises. That is in the bundle, 5 or 6 cars, but like I said, I'm not gonna buy that thing. First we're gonna see what we have achieved last week. By the looks of it, we're still in platinum, which is good, because I haven't played on this driver all week long, except for last week's stream. So let's see. How far did we drop? 86th. I think we finished somewhere in the top 15 when we did the stream, so it's not even that bad. But yeah, the top three almost made it to 1.4 million points. I just see here. 1,390,000, 1,385. Second and third are very close. So we win 400,000 followers, a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10 customization pack, the remaining parts of the powerboat set, which I think last week or the week before we already won some parts of that. These are the remaining parts, and a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10 Black Knight edition this time. So we will collect that. We get a bunch of bucks back, which I'm assuming will be some of the customization stuff that we already had. But first things first, we just want some parts. We're gonna collect those because otherwise it's a complete mess. Those are 3 powerboat parts. So we're gonna have a look if I remember where I put them on to complete that set from last. I think it was last week when we won those 4 parts. These are the remaining 3 parts. So that should complete the set. There we go. Here we have them. And that is a boosted set. The pure is not boosted. That would make yeah, too much of an advantage, I guess. Compared to the pure goes to 8% recalibration. Also these are not boosted, but the rich is boosted though. Normally rich goes only to 3%. This time it goes to 4.5. So if you need some money, this is a pretty good boat to do some grinding, do some powerboat events or something like that. It completes the set. And that brings the pure on 66, which is the maximum, and the rich on 37.9, and that is because I also have some extra point on rich over here. By the looks of it, I also need to collect a bunch of... yeah, I have some parts here. 7.7% I get from this rich. So that is something that we need to distract from this thing here. 7.7, so it's about 31.5% or something that you get. Something like that, I think, from this set only. And the pure is also maxed out, so it is a pretty good powerboat set. If you really don't need the box, you can always recalibrate all those box parts into an extra pump, and you have a perfect set for a powerboat. So that is that. Excuse me, sir. Back to the summit. What can we win? 300,000 followers. As I said, Pagani Zonda F, which is the hypercar. Only silver reward here. Gold reward is a Nitro Chemist set. These are not boosted parts. This is just a complete set. 7 parts for the monster truck. With a Nitro Chemist set, it has gifted on it and it has graceful on it. The gifted is for extra scoring in monster truck events, and the graceful makes you turn easier in the air. So pretty much a pretty good set. And seeing many people don't have these sets for monster truck, that's why we opted to give you guys this set. And the platinum reward is the neon green tire, which is an epic reward. Costs you several thousands of crew credits. If you want to buy it, you can get it for free. Over here we have the loot digger. This also seems to be a loot digger complete set for street race next week in Rule the Streets. And this seems to be so French, where we can win the Bugatti Devo Magma Edition. Special edition from the Devo for the platinum reward. And it is, yeah, this more or less is the September. And then later on we have American muscle cars over here coming. So this pretty much is the premium summit for September. Special edition of the Bugatti Devo. In case you do not have that, that is definitely something to play for. It is after all a car which costs you more than 2 million. So yeah, not all people have the Devo. The normal one, that is. This is a special edition, sort of like the Red Fury for the Lancer and so on. So that is what we can win in the future summits. That's sort of, let's say, the administration done. Let's have a look on these events. We have an aerobatic skills, which is Chicago. We have slalom, which is an off-road slalom. I think it's Big Land, if I'm not mistaken. The buoy smashing is on the Great Lakes. We have to see if we need a powerboat there or a jet sprint. The street race is at night in the snow in a Cadillac Eldorado Brougham. That's gonna be a very interesting one. Over here we have a street race in a classic muscle, which I think is coastal range to Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, or coastal range to Los Padres. It's one of those two. The hot rod in street race needs to be used for American cars in the Midwest. Steel Forge plant is the Drift, which is a sports car. The touring car is on a street race. I think it is Temecula Wineries. And rally rate is Salem Woods, if I'm not mistaken. As always, let's go and start with the aerobatics and have a look what's going on there. Normal circumstances, that means a couple of gates which you have to have perfect and finish before the timer is on 10 seconds to get the 2000 points maximum bonus. We'll see how easy or how difficult that is in this skill test. That seems to be not that hard to do. It is a bit tricky business though. Let's try again, because we missed the last one. So it's pretty much straightforward if you do this with an air race plane. Make sure you sort of are in the middle. That should do it. 22,650 points. That sort of means we are done with this, because this is the maximum that you can score here. So this is not that hard to do. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people already done it like this. With about 45 minutes or something that the summit is open. So yeah, pretty much easy one, this one. 155,101, yeah, that is the maximum score. Cannot score more, unless they have selected it time-wise. I don't think so. No, we all scored the same points, as you can see. But yeah, if you miss a perfect gate here or there, then you're gonna get a few points less. Not that many though. So that's a pretty easy one. Let's have a look on the slalom, seeing we are more or less done with the aerobatics. This seems to be taking place on the airfield here. The airfield cemetery, that is. We're obviously not gonna do that in this car. I think I have my parts on the bike, so that's fine, we will use that. Let's have a look. Skilled 75%. The rest doesn't matter that much. As long as we have the skilled, we're all good. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a look around now. First to see what's going on here. We have more than enough time to finish also here, just like in the aerobatics. We try to finish before the time strikes 10 seconds on the clock, which is not that hard. $28,840. Yeah, seems to be shaking a little bit. Might have to stiffen up the car a little bit, but yeah, that is also pretty much. Let's have a look. 28,884 is first place at the moment. We are in 7th. So yeah, this is a matter of speed. Also, this one not super hard. If you use the Ducati Monster, which you can see top 7 is using here, with a score breaker set with skilled 75%. Pretty much also there, 155,000 points. That's already 300,000 points. We can probably, let's have a look on the drift here. Yeah, also in the drift you can score 155,000 points. So yeah, that's already 450,000 points up for grabs just in these 3 skill tests. And I'm assuming it will be not much different in the buoy smashing. 157,000 already. Let's have a look. I will take out this boat here. And see what is going on. Yeah, this is basically, you need to do it very slow to see what is going on. This is tricky business. If we gonna have to do that with this thing here, because you have to do it very slow. There are all of these islands. There are small sandbanks and stuff here. We might actually have to go for a jet sprint here, which just goes faster around. That's my guess. But we'll try again. Yep, that's what I expected. With this boat, Tricky business with this boat around these islands. Let's try again. Let's quickly take out this thing. I don't know if I have actually yeah, I do have some scored breakers for here, but they are totally not maxed out with score breakers. Although I do seem to have score breaker on at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts where I have skilled on, so I need to recalibrate these two and get the skilled on maximum. But just let's have a look first if this is actually faster or not. It should be. Lots of boys here to smash. So yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm only 5,000 points away from the powerboat run. So let's see what we can do. Let's first see if we can get skilled on this. That's the only thing that matters for now. If we have enough bucks left later, then it's fine, but yeah, we need to find skilled. Preferably before the price goes up like crazy. Yeah. But yeah, we know how that goes meanwhile. But luckily we found some good parts already. It's just keeping the same that I just had. Yeah. The price goes up like crazy already. And we're still looking for skills. And with only 300,000 in the being there. Okay. I'll leave that one for now. We're gonna keep changing that thing. Hoping that it gives us some other stuff. Here we go. We have a skilled. And we have skilled on the other, so now we first have to look here. Gonna do the same here. Just put on these parts, whatever it is that it gives us. We are on the maximum price meanwhile. Extra pump, don't really need that. Skilled, get it. And we get immediately the 10, which is very good. because that was the only one that sorta had a high price. This one is already at 8.3. Nine four. Okay, 9.4 will do for now. We can do 9.4 or 10. This one is already 8.8. Oh, come on. We'll get all the low percentages first. There we go, under 100,000 bucks. Yo. Whoever found out this one is already at 10. That's very nice. This one is 6.1. That needs to go up. 9.4. We'll do a few tries. See if we can get it to 10. Yes, we did. So that's 10. Let's have a look on this one again, although this is 7,000. 9.4. And we're down to 50k. Okay, we'll keep it at this for now. We have skilled 73.8%. Okay, that's fine. Not super, but best time to do these things at night. I assume you have to do an 8-figure here. That seems to be the best. Let's try that again. $43,000. So one more run. What if we start left? 45,834. That will do for now. Yeah. I don't think... let's have a look. Some people have done it with the powerboat, but being a big ass machine on this island stuff here, not that interesting, I think. I scored 45,800. I don't have it completely maxed out yet. I have 73% instead of 75, and I also don't have pure, and so definitely can be improved. But that's never gonna make a huge difference. We have more or less have a perfect start. 155,000 points in aerobatics, 155 in slalom, and 157 in the buoy smashing. Next up, the drift, which means we have to switch to manual gears. And we're gonna have a look what we can use. Sports vehicles. Oh, we can even use the Mazda RX-7. Gonna do a run with the Nismo because that's the one where I have my parts on. But normally the RX-7 is easier to handle. That's obviously not good enough. It might be for some, but not for me. 120,000 points. Not in drift. Drift we score 150,000 plus if we do not lose a multiplier. But I'm gonna change the parts to the Mazda if we can use that. First get rid of that one. gonna steer a bit like an idiot. Because it doesn't seem to steer very well. Probably because we come out of that boat. Sometimes you have to switch a few events before it actually steers. Bit of looking for the lines. That is what we're gonna need to do to get some better score, but I'm assuming we can go towards 700,000, but that will probably not make much difference. 783,000 there, let's have a look. .370Z, BMW Z4, Nissan Skyline. You can also use so yeah, you can definitely use all sports cars. Different cars in the top of the leaderboard, so that's all fine. The 3 skill tests done and the drift done. We have 624,000 points. That is not that bad. Considering if we can score 100,000 in the other 4 events, 5 events even, that's 500,000, that's 1.1 million, 100,000 point bonus, that's 1.2 million. Not a bad score to start the day. But we have a few bizarre cars to drive, right? The touring car. That is a matter of... first get rid of this part here. I think it is Temecula Wineries, but I need to check where I have my parts on. I don't even think that I have the Maserati MC12 on this. And the question is, where are my parts? My parts are on the Nissan Skyline. We are not going to use that. What are we going to use? We can use the Ferrari, or we can use the Porsche. Let's do a run with the Porsche first and see how that goes. This car should be recalibrated. Yep. This is maxed out. Extra pump 75, pure 66. Settings and all that, we will go over it at the end of the video. Touring car, On a street race track, Noob. Temecula Wineries.
Three, two, one.
No, 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 no. I'm not used to driving with manual. Except for drag or drift,
Three,
but not in racing.
2, 1.
Some shortcuts here and there. Mainly cutting the corners. And you have a few S corners here to finish, which you can basically more or less take straight. Except for that one. Of course, forgot about that. It's mainly gonna be finding a car with some decent setup for this track, I think. Let's have a look. 227. If it wants to load for us, would be nice. Always a problem. Maserati, 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 yeah. We don't have money for the Maserati. Pagani Zonda, I see here. Okay, let's switch the part. It might be possible that on that last double right corner there, that you can actually jump reset or something like that. Because yeah, I see some names which are fast, but I also see some names which I know are using cuts and stuff like that. So it would surprise me if they do a 229 or a 230 or whatever that they were doing there. We're gonna go with the Ferrari, do a run with that, see how that goes.
3, 2,
But yeah, it's gonna be the Maserati, but I don't have that on this driver. That thing has the most top speed and such. Porsche was already faster. Might need to have to check the gears on this thing. Yeah, this limits out at 390 or whatever. Long straight here, that's where you make the difference with the Maserati. .34 with the Ferrari. Yeah, we made some mistakes obviously with the Porsche. 150,000 points. That will do for now. So we can use the Ferrari. The Maserati probably will be a bit faster because it can get more top speed on the longer straight. So we'll have a look on that. That for the touring car. Then we have Rally Raid, which is the buggy. I have the parts on the buggy already, I think. And then we're gonna have to do some switching with the other vehicles. Let's see.
3,
Salem Woods. Tricky business. Oh, that's too much to the left. Yep. Let's try that again. This is mainly gonna be finding the best route. You have to do it with a buggy. That is the car that was selected by one of the members
2,
of TPC. That seems to be a better. No, no. Too much to the right. I thought I had to go there. Left of the tree instead of right. So we try again.
2,
Finding the best route possible is going to be the key here. Let's go here. It seems to be a bit flatter here. Go here. Many trees here. Yo, it's still too much to the right. This is a track if PvP or so shows up. We usually take a bike here
3,
because of the trees.
2,
So with a buggy it's a bit tricky business. But yeah, that's gonna be the story of the last few tracks that we still have to do. So it seems to be a bit flatter here. That's a better start. I still think we need to go up here. But here we need to find the line. We need to stay up here for sure. And then here go a bit more to the left. Yep. And now we can go through the houses. Here we mainly have to look on the road, because otherwise you end up on this hill. So a bit more to the right there. Okay. Let's do this with the camera from behind. Not my favorite style of driving, with the camera from behind.
3, 2,
But in rally rate, that's not a bad choice though. More to the right of that tree we should have gone. Now we need to look at the road here, which is there somewhere, so you sort of have to aim for those arrows, I guess. Same here. Right of that rock, right of that tree here. Left of that bush here, I thought. Yep. Yeah. That's why I don't drive with the camera from behind. A bit to the right here, and then all to the left. Also here, aim for the road. Through these trees, jump here, lean forward. Checkpoint missed, it says. Don't take that ramp, and then here sort of is a finish somewhere in the. Hmm.
Three, two, one.
I think we sort of figured out the routes. Now it's a matter of not hitting the trees. He says while he hits the first three he sees.
Three, two, one.
This is also a deceiving tree, that one. It looks to be like some sort of bush tree which snaps more or less. Or to the right of this tree and then left. Sort of aim for those arrows. Yeah, that seems to be fine. And then you can go on the road straight ahead. Jumping forward. Here is also a line we need to figure out. I think it is here. This one. No. More to the left. We see the arrows. This line then. Then to the right. Yeah, that's the one. Then you arrive on this. Through the arrows here for sure. And then finish. Okay, okie dokie. Let's have a look what people are doing here. 143 paraglider. That's an indication.
Three, two,
So we're probably gonna end up in the 130s by the end of the week. You can of course also go way more right here. It's more open. This deceiving tree here. But if you can find the perfect line there and go in between those two houses in the beginning, it is faster than going around. But we'll go around now to have more open spaces. The start here is fine. You can go through this bush, it's more flat. If you go left, we have a little bit of a jump there. still end up on these rocks. Oh, it's still more to the left here. It's also something you cannot jump through. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay. As you can see, I'm not that familiar with rate.
3, 2, 1.
This is gonna take a few attempts.
3, 2, 1.
This we figured out meanwhile. Aim for the arrows here, for sure. Here you can go probably straight, but it's tricky business here. Because you're gonna hit that fence very often. This is very narrow. Bit of throttle there. Yeah, over here it for sure is this way. Left of this bush here. And here we have to go up. Oh, we managed it. Doesn't even count if you take it on the right, so you have to jump left.
3, 2, 1.
I guess we have to go left of the rock. 148 with some bumps here and there. But we finished, meanwhile. This can be improved for sure once we figure out the best route possible there. Which leaves us with the three street races. That means I need to check the parts. First, get rid of these things. I also need to have a look on this here because the gearing uphill is not perfect. But yeah, it's also a mix of parts. I have a nitrochemist set on it, but that's about it on this driver. Which is very strange. Oh yeah, that's probably because the better parts are on here by the looks of it. Street race. Let's see where we have the parts. I think on the Corvette C2. Yeah, that's where we have the parts on. I don't know. Let's have a look. What have people been using here? Camaro Z28 I see here. The Proto Hub 1, the Shelby, Chevrolet Camaro RS. Shelby. Nobody using the C2? Okay. Well, we are going to use the C2 though. Which we cannot use. That's very interesting. No longer considered a classic muscle. In that case, it's probably going to be the Camaro. Yo. Yeah, we'll select one. Doesn't matter. We don't have parts on it. We have to go back out of it.
2, 1.
That's a bit of a problem. That's not something I counted on. I thought we could use that Corvette C2. It's a classic car. As far as I know, it has a V8. Which in my opinion makes it a classic muscle, but apparently not. Okey-doke. Another Evo, yo. Let's see. Do we have something in the garage? We do have that Shelby, and we have the Hub 1, and we have the Camaro. We have all three that we can use. You can probably also use the Z28 Charger RT probably as well. 60s and 70s cars. $209, $209, $212. Okay, let's try the Camaro then. No, the Shelby. I think we have settings on that because we already used that thing once. So that's pretty much the same settings that we used on the Harlem track, I think, one of the previous summits. We'll see how that works here. Shelby GT 500. Let's try that.
3, 2, 1.
Yo, 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 yo. Come on. This car wobbles about, so we probably have to adjust the suspension. 138,000. 307. What are people doing here? 245. Yo way. Manual gears probably in these things. Okay, here we have it again. Uses the hub one. Camaro. Okay, let's change the parts to the hub one. Because we need that car anyway on that other track. And see if the thing is actually faster. What is this here? Score breaker with skilled. Yeah, we'll keep it. We have a skilled 10 here. Don't need to keep this one then. Okay, do hub one. Coastal range to Los Padres. Let's try it again with the hub one. And then while we are in this car, we can also do that other track where we have to use the hub one.
2, 1.
This is a very laggy start here for some reason. understeers like crazy. Nice. Very nice. This thing is a piece of trash. Yeah, these things barely move. Understeer, it has no brakes. This is definitely a cut. .311 and we hit some rocks and we were on our side, and so yeah. Let's try again. Because this thing seems to have more acceleration and speed than the Shelby.
3, 2,
Just need to find a way to get rid of that understeer. This might be a keyboard thing, I don't know. I assume that with a controller this thing steer a little bit sharper, and in these old classic cars that matters quite a lot. Playing around with your throttle a little bit to keep the RPM going, because if you brake too hard it seems to drop dead. Avoid that rock. Like here, we need manual gears. $258. Getting a little bit better. Well, I don't know. Might try the Camaro later on, but throughout the week it will become very clear if you look in the leaderboard which is the best one. I also see quite a lot of Camaro Z28, 1970 that is. I don't have that car in the garage, so we cannot test that. But since we have the parts on the hot rod, American cars in the Midwest, we have done this a couple of weeks ago, this track with the Dodge Challenger, I think it was.
2, 1.
That's 2 times I almost lost it. Doesn't count. Yeah, I need to change something on that suspension, that's for sure. That probably needs to go towards 3 minutes, I'm assuming. Let's have a look. What are people doing here? 307. Not even that far up. Which brings us at 1.1 million already. Okay. That's not that bad. See, we have a potential 200,000 points behind. We still need to do one event, and we still have the 9 events bonus, which is also 100,000 points. These parts need to go up because we need to find that probably the biggest boat of all. I wish we could have used this thing in the classic muscle though. I'm assuming it's not considered a muscle car. Because we have to use this big boat at night in the snow. Yo. And there are unfortunately 3 cuts, I think. Coastal range to LA. There are indeed 3 reset cuts.
3, 2,
Yeah, this is gonna be an FPS killer as well, I think. Get out of my way.
All I've got to say to you is keep working your magic.
Well, I already missed a cut here. Okay, I knew it was like this. Normally you jump off that rock and then you reset. But with this big boat, a bit of a different story. This thing is so slow and so wobbling. Let the AI actually keep up with you. Because they are in more modern cars. steal for one single pit. Snow also does not help. Jesus Christ. $454 with a normal car. We're doing 420 or something on this track, or 415 or whatever. But not in the snow at night, and also an FPS killer by the looks of it. I think I was getting like 48, 49 FPS. Might have something to do with the fact that I'm streaming as well, of course, but still. But still. $1.4 million points, second place overall, with about 1,000 people ranked at the moment. So after all, not that bad by the looks of it. Scores are going over 1.4 million. The reason for that is pretty simple. We have 3 score-based skill tests, and we have a drift, which is also a multiplier, aka score-based. That is 600,000 points that you can get there, at least. Well, it's even a bit more, 620, 625,000 just of those 4 things. Score breakers, either in jet sprint or powerboat. Probably jet sprint is going to be the faster vehicle. More than likely a bike there on the slalom, aerobatics, air race plane. Aerobatics is the maximum score, we cannot score more there. The Eldorado, yeah. Okie doke. Well, let's start with this thing here. What do we have on here? Extra pump frenetic pure, a bit of a mix. Setting wise, yeah. On top I always have the same, which is the 10999, which is what I use for the keyboard. And these are the Eldorado settings. 0, 8, 10, 10, 10, 7, 2, 10, 10, 4, 0, 0, 8, 10. That's sort of the new thing that I would do. If I tune the car, I immediately start with the camber at 0 and the anti-roll bars as high as we can get it. If it's a bit too stiff, you can bring this down if you want. What else did we use? Unfortunately, we didn't use this. I've tested this car with these settings. Corvette C2 was pretty good because I thought we could use this as a classic car on that classic muscle track there. But yeah, apparently we couldn't, unfortunately. So yeah, it's either gonna be this Shelby or the Camaro Z28 or the Hub 1. The Shelby that we used, but yeah, that was not that fast. The Camaro probably gonna be faster, and this one, Hub 1, These are the settings that I use on that thing. At first I also had the anti-roll bars at 8 and 10, but that made it even understeer even more. So I'm gonna have to play around with the anti-roll bars and the suspension. Camber on 0, 0 as well. Aero always to, yeah, as much to the rear as possible as well. That's sort of the standard stuff that you do. Change around the brake balance. You just look at the brake distance number when you tune the car, and then whatever it is that the lowest number is, that's where you put the bar, more or less. The rest is suspension for the jumps and the anti-roll bars to make it a bit softer or a bit stiffer, or gonna have to play around with that because it still understeers. So we will see what we can do with that. But these are the settings that I definitely use for that. That Camaro we haven't used. Might do a run with that as well, but that is something that will become clear during the week. Might be even that the Camaro Z28 is the fastest. If that's the case, then I still need to buy that thing. I don't have it in my garage. We have done drift. The drift is sort of the only thing where I change the global settings. Normally I use 10, 9, 10, 10, but for drift I use 2, 8, 2, 5, and then the rest of the drift settings you can see here. Suspension doesn't matter that much, since you usually don't have jumps in drift. What are the specifics here? Is the camber front 0, and the rear I did not put on 0 this time. I put a pretty high, 7 or 8 I think that is. Anti-roll bars on 1, and the tire grip I brought down. The only car ever where I bring tire grip down. On the rear I put it on 9. At first I had it on 8. In previous videos you might seen it at 8, but at some point these drift cars suddenly started sliding a lot. So I think they have changed something on it. So I put the grip now on 9, and that seems to work. As you can see, puts the bar all the way to the right to expert. But yeah, I'm scoring 600,000-700,000 points in most of the drift events with this thing, with these settings. So I'll just keep them. What else did we use? Score breaker obviously on this bike. Settings, these are the ones that I use. I might bring the suspension a bit, yeah, might change them a little bit, because it was a bit wobbling there on the airfield cemetery. That's where the slalom is, because that's why we use this bike. But it works, as you could see. I scored 28,000 something, but need to figure that one out. Play a little bit around. What I did mainly changed compared to the default settings is change the tire grip to 10 instead of 5. 5 is the default on most of these bikes. The buggy seemed fine. I might bring the gearbox down one click, actually, because on the uphills it was struggling a little bit, especially if you just tap a little tree here or there. You're gonna have some issues uphill. So 9 might be the better standing for the gearbox. Suspension I put pretty stiff here. Camber at 0, anti-roll bars 8, 10. This is sort of normal. This is like the standard. This is where I usually start with 0, 0, and then the anti-roll bars on 8, 10. And then you can bring the anti-roll bars a little bit down if it's really too stiff. But for rally rate, that's not that bad. What else did we use in the rallycross? We have some parts here. Yeah, the Porsche was a bit too slow in the beginning. These settings were not that bad, but we're probably gonna have to use the Maserati though. And we also need some more speed here. So the gearbox on 9 here would do. We had it on 8 for some reason, which works pretty good on circuit tracks. But yeah, this was Temecula Wineries, which is a street race track. So we need some more speed because it's limited out on 390 something. So I'm gonna change the gearbox to 9, and then these are sort of the settings. Which works pretty okay for that Ferrari. Not so stiff suspension, because yeah, normally you drive it on a circuit track, so I have the suspension pretty soft. That's for the Ferrari. Yeah, I don't have the Maserati on this driver. Let me have a look. Maserati MC12. I sort of have the anti-roll bars on 3, the aero I mean. 9, 10, 10, 10, that's the same. The brake balance all the way to 0 on the MC12 Maserati. Suspension, I have 5775 by the looks of it. The camber 00 as well, and 75 for the anti-roll bars. Those are the settings that I'm using on the Maserati MC12. I cannot show you here because I don't have that car on this driver. That's why I used the Ferrari. Is anything else? What else did we use? This thing here we use for the buoy smashing. Score breaker with skills, obviously. And these are the settings that I use on that thing. The Proto Leopard, also here, because I don't have the Hornet on it. Hornet is normally the best, Leopard is not that far off. And the Brawler is also fine. The New Zealand Sportsman thing there, that really doesn't work for me, for some reason or another. But the other 3 are more or less the same jet sprint boats. And the power boats we did not use. You can do the buoy smashing with the power boats, but on this track I'm not so sure. I think the jet sprint might actually be faster for once. And what else did we use is the plane. Yeah, the plane settings that I use there. Pretty much the D's. Doesn't matter that much. You don't have to do much steering. It's more about the pitch, because you only need to go up and down a little bit over the buildings in Chicago. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And that is it, vehicle wise. Other than that, we had a bit of an issue on Salem Woods here, finding a good route. We still haven't found the perfect route yet. But nevertheless, it will work. And we managed to get second place overall at this moment in time with 1.416. So it definitely is not that bad. As a matter of fact, yeah, this is a score that will guarantee you platinum, no matter what happens during the rest of the week. If you score more than 1.4 million, that's not something you do every week. The scores will be higher no matter what. So that will be the case for everybody, and that has mainly to do because 3 skills tests are score based, and we also have a drift event which is more or less score based. So yeah, that's 600,000 points that's up for grabs already there, with 5 events next to that. So if you can score 100,000 points there, that's 1.1. You get 100,000 bonus for doing the 9 events. So you basically start with a 1.2 million points, and all that you go over 100,000 points in those time attacks. Yeah, that's where the rest of the points come from. The player's choice. A bit of a fight with some older classic cars. That's basically what this summit was about. We had a few classic car lovers in TPC, and the result of that is the player's choice summit. Noob does summit number 16. 1.4 million points. I will see you guys in the next one. and bye for now.